So, Splatoon 2 Direct happened yesterday. Awesome. Cool. I was not expecting anything, honestly. I was like, maybe we'll get a map or two or like a new weapon or two, and that's gonna be it. We got so much info. I'm just gonna get right into it.
Hi there. We of the Squid
So,
Research
let's
Lab
just
have
skip ahead
returned
to something
present
that
our latest
matters.
findings. So, buckle up and how does flow? From hats to glasses, this sea slug carries it.
So,
Could tune out his weapon dissertations.
we get to the point where we learn about some of the new weapons that are coming out.
Well suited for a torrent of ink.
Old info, charger splatlings,
Blasters shoot
sloshers, that's coming back.
so you may
But
want to stick around before you settle down.
we learn about
In Splatoon 2,
some new
some of the
weapons in a second here.
weapons let you dodge roll.
Alright,
Introducing the
Clash Blaster. This thing's pretty fucking cool.
It has short
So,
range, but
it's basically a crayon shooter,
and
but it's a
explosive
rapid
tendencies
blaster
keep
that's
the enemy at bay.
close range. So it's like, kind of fits the Luna
Introducing
range
the
area,
Flings-a roller.
but it's going to be rapid, like, mobility and kill time, so I think it's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be a really good option for close range, and I think we know... I don't know if we know what the kit is, so let me just pop up the kits that we know about. So these are the kits that we learned about through this whole direct. And the Clash Blaster, somewhere in here. Oh, I actually forgot to put this on here. Anyway, I don't think we figured out the kit, but it's a really good, really cool weapon, and given the right kit, it can actually have like a really good place in the meta.
Introducing the Clash
So,
Blaster.
I'll be interested to see how it does.
It has short range,
It'll be fun to play, but I don't think it's going to be a
high
weapon
firing
I'm
and
going to, like,
explosive tendencies
focus
keep
on.
the enemy at bay. Introducing
This roller is, like, kind of like the combination of a carbon and a dynamo. So it's got, like, the carbon horizontal flip, but a dynamo vertical flip. So it's going to be kind of interesting to use, but I don't know, like, I don't know if it's going to be best of both worlds or the weakness of both of them. This thing's really cool. So it is a splat charger, except it takes about E-liter time to charge, but you can hold the charge for like 6 seconds or something crazy. So it's going to be really high risk, high reward. If you get it and you miss your shot, you are screwed, because it's going to take you so long to charge, you're not going to be able to do anything, and you're not E-liter range, so you don't have like the safety that you have with an E-liter by being like on the opposite side of the map. So it's going to be a very high risk, high reward, but like the surprise plays you can do with it are going to be crazy. And the kit that I think what we know about, let me open this up again. I'm pretty sure I saw that on there. So GooTuber had Suction Bomb and Splashdown, which is, you know, pretty decent paint one. And the Splashdown's going to be nice as like a backup. If you miss your shot, you can just splash down and, you know, still get away with playing aggressive. So GooTuber is going to be cool. I think a lot of people are going to play it. I don't know if it'll stick around, but we'll see.
Holds a charge for an extremely long time. And as a result, you can move to a better location while powered up.
Look how long that is, but he can just move around with a full charge in his tank. Like, that's crazy. These are whatever. They're not going to be that useful. Like, it's either these or the other dually. They're going to just be like the ones used, and then like the other one won't be used very much. I don't know if the mobility is going to make the difference, or the quickness.
But what about sub-weapons? In addition to spreading ink and attacking, sub-weapons provide other
So we got sub-weapons. We know splash balls exist.
and reconnaissance.
Splash balls. It seems like splash ball actually opens a little slower than it did in Splat 1, so
And hunts down enemies.
you're gonna have to do a little more forethought in when you're placing them.
Aptly named toxic mist can be thrown at enemies, surrounding them in a harmful gas. And that's just the beginning. New sub-weapons are currently in what
let's
works
see.
for you.
Do they talk about any of the new specials here?
Sure, no special.
Nope. 10 missiles, inkjet, all old info. Stingray, old info. Inkstorm, old info. The bomb launcher's cool. So the way they explain it in the game By the way, the game, you can like open up and go into the plaza and stuff now, which I'm going to do later. But the way they explain it in the game is the longer you hold right trigger before letting go when using this, the further the bomb throws. So it's not just like instant, like super far throwing. Like you have to slow down your firing in order to throw it really far. And as far as we can tell, you can't like squid form. Like we don't know this for sure, but you, as far as we can tell, you can't squid form when you're using it. So you're gonna be kind of like sort of stationary. You can walk around, but that's about it. So you're gonna be limited in how far you can move forward. So you're gonna have to like start off really close, shooting a bunch of them. This thing, I'm excited for this. So this is ink armor. It's guaranteed you, like your whole team globally gets this armor after like the charge up, which is actually a pretty long time. Let me hit that again and show you. So this is like 2 to 3 seconds of charge up, but it's global and it's a guaranteed you like take no damage from one hit. So it's going to be really good against things like blasters, against things like chargers, against things like... Uh-oh, did I drop frames? Doesn't look like it. Okay, cool. So it's going to be really good against blasters. It's going to be really good against chargers. It's going to be really good against really heavy hitters. The things that I'm worried about with it are things like Dynamo. Does it like, because Dynamo is such a multi-hit weapon, does it only block one of the splats in a Dynamo swing and then you just get hit by the rest and die anyway? Or does it block like everything for like a quarter second or something so that you take that one Dynamo, like you take the whole Dynamo swing? If it doesn't take like a Dynamo swing or stuff like that from like other rollers or, you know, other multi-hit weapons like that, it's not going to be as good, but it's still going to have a use against chargers and blasters for sure. And sloshers. Anything that's like slow to shoot. And invincibilities are almost back, sort of. This is like, it's not bubble, it's baller, but it's basically bubble. So this thing is, you aren't invincible. It's like, apparently it's a certain amount of health it'll explode on. Like the teammates can shoot you and it'll blow up, but, or like die or whatever. But you are invulnerable to damage until it comes out or until it breaks. And you roll forward, it will climb up walls on its own, and then it just like blows up like an ink mine. This is like a special where it's like, it's either gonna be way underpowered and just useless, or it's gonna be kind of obnoxious and like free get out of jail free card kind of thing. It'll be interesting to see what it is or like how it behaves, but I'm a little worried about it. It also just doesn't really look that fun to use.
Just imagine the possibilities.
But that's a confirmed nozzle nose has that, so that's pretty interesting to see.
So far, we've examined Inkling gear, weapons, and the strengths and weaknesses inherent.
Inkling gear.
It's important to choose the right.
All right, so hang on. Let me just. That jet squelcher kit. That jet squelcher kit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Jet Squelcher, Toxic Mist, and Tentamistals. That might be the best thing ever. I am so excited for this. That is going to be the first thing I try, I think. Well, it won't be the first thing I try because I'll have to level up to get it, but it'll be, as soon as I can get it, that's the first thing I'm going to use consistently. The NZAP kit looks really support-like. It's kind of replacing, because you don't have Echo, you get a different global special, so you get a buff to your team instead of echoing the enemy team. It's kind of cool. This Aerospray kit confirms that you don't have to have a sub that matches which bomb rush you have. So I'm actually kind of interested in that, because that opens up a lot of kit possibilities. And like, I don't think any of the bomb rush kits that we know about for sure have a sub that matches it, so that's going to be cool. Or bomb launcher, sorry. This 52 kit is kind of lame. It's probably not going to get used very much. This Default 96 kit is going to be another really good support kit. I kind of love this a lot, especially if Ink Armor is actually going to be good. I'll probably use this quite a bit too. This Tri-Slasher is okay. The problem is there's no damage up in the game, so like, unless there's like a miracle, it's probably not going to be something where you can combo with it. Like, unless you get it direct with the burst bomb, you can't just like burst bomb kill somebody because it doesn't do enough damage on the main swing. So it'd be interesting, but I don't think it's going to happen. Slosher we knew. Luna is potentially really stupid, but we're just going to ignore that. Here's the Tenatech kit. As far as we can tell, that's what's actually going to be in the Splatfest. Splat Bomb and Inkjet. I think that's the one that's in the Splatfest because they gave the dualies with the Burst Bomb in there, so they probably just were like, hey, let's not do 2 Burst Bomb kits in the tests. And then the Juniors pretty much got the same kit it had in Splat 1, where it's got the Splat Bomb and then like pseudo invincibility, but it's not invincibility, it's just 1 hit, which is nice. It's probably the only kit they could have gave it that wouldn't have made it useless. And then, alright, so here we got the Splatter Scope kits, but we got a mini with Burst Bomb and 10 missiles, which is actually a pretty good kit. Not sure if it'll get used or not, but at least it's interesting. And then GooTuber, Suction Bomb, Splashdown. And I'm guessing that this will be, if this gets used, this will be the kit that gets used, but like, I don't know what else they would give it that would make it like synergize with the kit, because this synergizes pretty well. But I guess we'll see.
And mode you've selected.
Is there another
Speaking
one?
of modes,
Nope. Alright, so we already know all the stuff about
it's just that.
modes.
City streets,
It tells you a couple, I think a new map here.
an academy,
Inkblot Art Academy we knew about.
a concert,
Starfish Main Stage we knew about.
a racetrack.
Humpback
And
Pump
so
Track
on.
we knew about.
Catch my drift? I certainly hope so.
Surgeon Shipyard. So this is a new one. As soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, this is probably the replacement for Port Mackerel. And then we know what comes next. But as far as we can tell, this is, again, following the very similar map construction that all the Splatoon 2 maps have had. Lots of ways of getting out of your base. Really wide, multiple angles of approaching mid. It's maybe a little less than some of the other ones, but there are some power positions that look like it'll be able to approach mid very well. So, like right here, in here, in here. And then even right here can kind of put pressure on mid. So I think this will probably be a pretty decent map. Looks kind of big though.
With hazards, such as this shipyard.
Also, like, these moving platforms are interesting. So Port Mackerel's back, for better or worse. A lot of people didn't like this map. A lot of people did like this map. Either way, this is basically not Port Mackerel at all. So whatever, don't worry about it. Like, they named it Port Mackerel to just say, I'm pretty sure they just named it Port Mackerel to say, hey, we brought more than just Moray Towers back, so, like, stop whining. Because nothing about this is actually the same. Like the sides out of spawn are the same, and then everything else is different. So, the middle of the map, it's, like, way less cover, like, a lot more open area. And the cover that you do have, you can get on top of from multiple areas, and it's like powerful, like they're powerful positions, like actually good places to stand for like chargers or anybody really. And the whole metagame around Port Mackerel now is going to be just around controlling the top areas of the map. I definitely think it's a much better map. It's going to be hard to tell. I don't think all of this crap stays in the ranked modes, but we'll see. I think we do get a still. I think there was a still of like splat zones, and like it was the same, but without like the little moving hazards in the middle. So Moray Towers is Moray Towers. It's, you know, much better, but it's still Moray Towers.
In addition to turf war, serious.
Oh, I think actually right here is where they give us a screen of Port Mackerel. So splat zones, they do a lot of one zone maps, which actually bothers me quite a bit because I think one zone is way inferior to two zone. But hey, whatever.
The team that maintains control of them longest reigns supreme. Tower control.
Tower control.
Control of a tower that moves on rails when you're standing on it.
Thought we got another port macro screen, but maybe not.
Ride it all the way to the goal in the other team's area to win. The tower will stop at key checkpoints, resulting in fierce battles for possession.
King check, it just looks so weak. Anyway.
Rainmaker.
Rainmaker.
The team that carries the
I'm skipping ahead on this. Alright, so we did know this, but you get different ranks for every mode. And they did leave this slot open for a potential 4th game mode. I kind of, you know, I don't think this is like a dead giveaway that it's going to happen because, we did go through 2 years of Splat 1 with 3 slots for maps and rotations, but only having 2 maps, so there could be some other reason for this. But at least the slot is potentially there, so we could see another mode at some point. I don't think we'll see it on launch though. They would, if it was going to be on launch, they probably would have said something here.
Prove you can out-ink the competition, and you may even move up 2 or more ranks at a time.
So ranking up, there's not going to be any more S+ challenges because you can now skip ranks, like you can skip all of, you know, C+ in order to move up to B- or whatever, because they realized how frustrating it was for new players to deal with. Oh wow, he went from C+ to A-. So like if you're doing really well, you're just going to jump straight up.
Allow you to form a team with friends, fight alongside them.
All right, League Battle is awesome. I am so happy for League Battle. It is going to be great. So League Battle is for a 2-hour rotation. If you go in with a team, it looks like you have to play at least 7 games. I'm guessing that's what that means, and you get a rating.
Battle your way to the top of the charts.
So for that 2-hour rotation, you could potentially be the best team in the game, and it'll tell you that. So while it's not gonna like completely stop all the like non-tryharding and like trolling in squad battles, it's gonna give a little more meaning to it. So like in general, it's probably gonna be better practice because people will just be trying harder and aiming less. So I'm really interested in it. Wait, was there the port mackerel screen there? Oh, there wasn't. Okay. Okay, so merch is the new gear editor dude. Oh wow, I did not say that word right. Gear editor dude. Ability chunks is a much better system, much less RNG based. So as you level up gear, you can have this guy take off a piece, like take off one of the subs from your gear, and you can re-level it up. And you can just like hoard all of those subs in order to put the gear, like put the subs that you want on pieces of gear that you want. So if you get like, I think it's 10. So if you get 10 ink recovery chunks, you can spend them on a piece of gear in order to guarantee that you have an ink recovery on that. So it's 30 to get a perfect piece of gear. Which I think is actually pretty awesome. And we find out later that there's this guy, the shoe guy from the last game. He now sells drinks and food, and the drinks give you increased experience on gear and a higher chance of getting certain stats on gear. So what you'd want to do is get 3 pieces of gear that are favored toward a certain ability, and then get one of his drinks, and then you'll just like grind out for a long time on a certain kind of stat that you want in order to like max out certain pieces of gear, which is going to be really nice for grinding. Even if gear editing returns, which there's a chance of that because amiibo are cracked and there's the gear saving on amiibo thing, but even if it does return, I'm almost thinking like people won't bother because this is a very like there's no reason to bother when you can do this. So it depends on how fast it goes, but I feel like it's probably going to be at least fast enough that you can get like, you know, a few perfect sets within a couple of weeks. So we'll see.
Some for clothing. And even shoes.
I'll go over the abilities specifically in more detail within the game because there's more direct explanations of the gear abilities. But the mechanics of like gear editing here is interesting. Alright, so I'll talk about these in the game. Actually, you know what, I'm just talking about them here. So thermal ink is really nice, especially for like long range weapons and like blasters. If you hit somebody with your primary weapon, it has to be your primary weapon. If you hit them, they will be revealed through walls, like kind of like what happens in when you're using Stingray now. When you're not firing, it'll just kind of like reveal everybody that's behind a wall. If you notice in this clip here, let me go really slow. So this inkling on the left gets pinged, but doesn't show up behind the wall until they come out of squid form. So if you stay in if you know that they have thermal ink and you stay in squid, they don't know where you are. You have to be shooting or moving around outside of squid form in order for them to know where you are. So you can still kind of outplay people. It's just they're gonna have a more. It's gonna be more helpful in the macro rather than like in a fight. Like you'll always know where they're going. Like you can still outstrafe people and stuff like that. So I think that was a smart decision.
The Object Shredder ability increases damage dealt.
Object Shredder is really nice. It doesn't just affect like subs that are thrown out. It affects every non-player thing, everything that's not a player. So Rainmaker shields, the tethers that are on Moray Towers, like those will pop up faster. I don't know if this can be used all that much. Like it's definitely going to be useful if you know the enemy team's going to run a bunch of splash walls. Like if you're going to run like old port mackerel for sure. I don't know about the new one if it's going to be as like splash wall heavy, but there's definitely going to be use for it. I just don't know if it's going to be that useful. It's also, as far as we can tell, not stackable. So you just get the 1 point of it, and it gives you, like it'll show you right here. It's like about 1 second faster he blows up a splash wall. So it's useful for sure.
Quick respawn reduces your respawn time.
Quick respawn, we knew how it's changed, but if you don't know, if you die and then don't get a kill and then die again, you get quick respawn, and it's a little bit more powerful than it was in Splat 1. So while you won't get it every life now, you'll get it when it does kick in, it's a little more powerful, so it's kind of nice. It's definitely still going to be used, but it's probably not going to be like the meta and like everybody runs it no matter what. This thing's really interesting. So in this clip, the guy doesn't explain it right. In this clip, the roller has respawn Punisher, and he kills the charger that's on the screen, and the charger respawns slower, but also the roller respawns slower. So the way they describe it in the video is anyone who kills you and like yourself and anyone who kills you will respawn slower if you're running respawn Punisher, which is not right. It's anyone, like your respawn is increased and anyone you kill is increased. So this thing's going to be really good to run on chargers or things that are really good at staying alive and getting picks. So chargers and splat links will probably run this quite a bit. Probably chargers more often just because they kill more. So it basically makes every pick that they get even more important. But when they do die, there's counterplay to it. So you know that they're running respawn Punisher, so every time you pick the charger, your team knows like, oh, okay, we got a huge opening now. Let's do it. It's not like a huge difference. It's like a quarter second or something, or like a half second maybe. I think it'll show you. Yeah, so it was about a half second, maybe a second, which is it's noticeable, especially, especially on weapons that want to just kind of like go face. And yeah, I think it's gonna be good. And it's not stackable, FYI. It is a 1-point wonder on I think it was shirts. And then yeah, this one's cool. It's kind of like a pseudo stealth jump replacement, which it's not really a replacement because stealth jump is returning. Yay. But it'll make it harder for people to camp your spawn, but you're still going to die to things like suction bombs and whatever, so it's going to be kind of useful, but not super great. So I will go over all the other ones that they don't explain within the game.
but the competitions as well.
Stealth jump is back.
Remember, merch can add or remove gear abilities.
So, Salmon Run, don't care. It's interesting to know that Salmon Run is going to be like every other day for like a full day. Or thereabouts. So you can't run it every day, but when you do run it, you get like lots of stuff, so whatever. There's pieces of gear that you can't get anywhere else, so it'll be worth doing. But that's kind of a bummer for the people that think it, like, you know, I think it's kind of dumb to limit it. Like, I think they should have just made it like you don't get any rewards unless it's like open. Like, you can just do it for fun, or you can do it for the rewards. I don't know. Kind of dumb. We don't know for sure, but you might still be able to do it with friends. You just won't get matchmaking. So we'll see.
Such as stage schedules, gear, and stats at your fingertips.
Oh yeah, the new app is awesome. So I was really hoping for this because when we learned at E3 is that you do not get, like, it doesn't show your deaths and it doesn't show your assists and post game stats. So I was really hoping that like the app that they have was going to show things like deaths, assists, and like other stats, even like turf covered in a certain game. And it looks like we got that with their new Splatoon 2. It's not the same app as Nintendo's like matchmaking app or whatever the heck they're calling it, but it is going to be something we can at least look at. So right here you can see kills, assists, deaths, and specials used. I'm hoping that we'll see like a turf covered even in non-turf war modes, because that's actually info that matters.
And get an in-depth look at the weapons and gear wielded by the
You can look at weapons and gear, which is whatever. But yeah, the general info about the game is nice too.
Helping you to analyze and improve your game.
It's really cool.
You can also view your
I think this comes out on launch with the game, so you can use it right away. The Nintendo Online app is not going to come out with the game. That's going to come out in like early 2018.
Battles, league battles, Splatfest battles,
but that'll be kind of useful. I think people will still want to use Discord.
It's
kind of, I think it's kind of nice that tabletop/TV mode has a different sensitivity and control settings from handheld mode, because I played a little handheld mode and like motion you just can't do it. Like moving the gamepad or moving the Switch around just doesn't, like, your brain doesn't like orient right to what's happening on screen, so it's not going to really work very well. So most people probably have motion controls turned off in handheld mode, or just not use handheld mode.
And there's also a handy sort feature.
The sort feature is nice. It's going to be really much easier to find things. Amiibo, whatever.
Krusty Sean's place.
Alright, here's Krusty Sean. So you can get increased experience, increased money, and increased gear leveling, which is pretty freaking cool. Increased gear leveling is obviously going to be the most useful one. I don't know how money gets used other than with gear so far. They didn't really say for sure. But I assume merch costs money somehow.
Here at the show.
So this is where you go to LAN. This is a confirmation that you can salmon run anywhere with LAN, and the LAN is going to be like this. I like that the LAN part of it, not the wireless part of it, but the LAN part of it is like the biggest button and the most prominent button.
You can play locally with friends using their
it's not a huge deal, but I thought that was like a nice shout out to the community. Hey, Squid Beat's cool, great, awesome. Single player is cool. Kind of looks actually really fun, but
well, we've seen some.
I love this weapon. I love this. This weapon might be my main. Like, this looks so freaking cool. It's like it basically seems like a better nozzle nose.
New weapons are in development. Say hello to the Brella. Much like an
Brella. So it's basically a shotgun, but with a riot shield or something on it. So it's really cool. Let me just play this. But so the main drawback appears to be that it just takes a ton of ink. Like, like you can just see the ink going down like crazy.
You can even do
But this firing forward thing is really cool, and it 2-shots apparently. So
Be careful.
I'm gonna, yeah, it's definitely kind of like a, it's basically,
New special
it's gonna fit the same role. I'm sorry, it's gonna kind of like fit in the same feel as a nozzle nose. It's got the kind of like similar range, and it's, you know, it's like a burst or like a timed like shooting thing. So it's gonna feel a lot like a nozzle nose, but it's gonna be more consistent because you don't have to hit 3 shots in a row. You just have to hit a blast, like a shotgun blast of stuff, and it's a 2-shot kill. So I think this is gonna be a much more consistent nozzle nose, and I think as long as its kits are good, it's gonna be really good. So I'm excited for it. Also, this special looks really cool.
weapons are on the way.
So we do figure out, because that Inkling was the one that shot the bubble blower, that the Forge Pro is what has bubble blower, which is cool. I like bubble blower. Also, because they were standing here when they shot it, we know it goes forward at least some amount. So I think this bubble blower thing is going to be really cool. At first I thought it was a weapon because I was watching this with a bunch of people and I couldn't hear anything, so I thought it was like, this is the main weapon, the bubble blower, and I was like, holy crap, this thing's good. But it's going to be on the Forge Pro. I don't think we can tell what the sub is, but
New gear too.
I'll be interested to try it out.
Over time, more stages.
Another new map. The way they word it makes it seem like this is not going to be a launch map. This is going to be a DLC map. Or DLC. It's really going to be probably on the disc, just like a lot of the Splat 1 maps were, and they'll just like release it later. But
Will become available as well.
this, you know, it looks pretty good. It looks a lot more segmented than the other maps. Like there's way less long lines of sight, so it'll be interesting. Another one here. This one is much more open. Again, in the same vein of Splatoon 2 map design, where there's lots of ways of approaching the middle of the map. The sides of the map are good at assaulting the middle. You know, I like it.
This will change the game. Expect weapon, gear, and stage updates for around a year.
And then the biggest thing is obviously this, like the announcement for the Splatfest test fire thing, which is gonna be cool. I don't really need to talk about it though, but what I am gonna do is I'm gonna open up this kits thing and just make sure I got through every kit. We talked about the Junior, the Luna. We know about the oh yeah, Firefin Splat Charger. So we did see that. So essentially the Bento's coming back in some way. It's Splash Wall and then Suction Bomb Launcher, which is really useful because it gives a charger a way of contesting map control really well without just getting a bunch of picks. You can just like throw a bunch of bombs out on a map. So I like it. Was there anything else? I can't get over how good this Jet Squelcher is going to be. Toxic Post-Tena Missiles is going to be such a good kit. It kind of looked like, I should probably test this before I say anything, but it looked like the Jet Squelcher fires just a little bit faster in Splat 2 than it did in Splat 1, which is going to be super nice, if that's the case. Because it definitely needed some sort of buff. Collab Spat Dualies, we know has Curling Bomb and Inkjet. Whatever. And then Rapid Blaster's got Ink Mine and Splat Bomb Launcher, which is a good kit. It's kind of like a combination of the current 2 Rapid Blaster kits thrown into one, which I think is nice. Yeah, and that's everything.